everybody, happy Saturday. I hope you guys having an amazing weekend so far. It feels like it's been a very long time since me and you interacted, right? Well, that's for a very good reason, guys. You know, your boy's been working so hard lately. I'm putting in a lot of overtime, and at the same time, I'm in constant communication with my team back at home. Now that we have launched our pig barn for the second time, things have to really go according to plans, and we have a lot of plannings that we've been doing in the past couple of days, and that really required my attention a lot. There were days where I'm driving to work, but I had to be on a phone call with my team so we can coordinate certain things together, right? So those are one of the reasons why I was very absent from my channel for a while. I don't remember doing live stream this week, and it's for a very good reason, guys. So everything I'm doing and the content that I'm bringing you is because I'm trying to encourage as many of you as I possibly can, and also inspire some of you to consider doing the exact same thing that I have been doing in Congo, right? So guys, if you notice my absence from YouTube, it's because of that, okay? And of course, I also got other videos on the pipelines that I'm going to be sharing with you in a very near future. Since the launching of the farm, I believe I have shared at least one video so far with you guys. And there are other mores that I'm working on, which will be released really soon. But as you guys can see, I'm on a wheel. But this time, though, I'm not driving to work. This Saturday, I'm not working. However, I have this program that I signed up for that I'm have to attend. It's 2 days in a row. It's in Harrisburg. So I live in Pennsylvania, right? So my city where I live at, or my town, it is about an hour and 40 minutes away from this particular school that I'm going to be taking the 2-day seminar or classes for. So that's why I'm on the road to my destination, guys. And I will probably share that with you in a separate videos, but on this video, I'm not going to be talking about what I'm going to Harrisburg for, right? But if you would like to see me talk about or share the reason that I'm going to Harrisburg for today, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will gladly share that with you guys. All right, you guys, it's it's a lot of you on the chat now. Please do me a favor, hit that like button. And let me know in the comment section where you're tuning in from, and I will really appreciate it. It's Saturday, everybody's in a good mood, right? The weekend has just started. I know everybody is trying to, get their weekend going, whether they're planning on going to the shore because it's already getting warm, right? At least here in Pennsylvania, it is getting warm, and I'm very excited. And the weather is just so amazing, guys. So please, let's all be happy and have a positive attitude, enjoying this weekend all together. Well, guys, without further ado, and I don't want to waste any more of your time, because I know your time is very precious, guys, and I do respect it. And I also appreciate you guys always coming back here on this channel to watch me and hear what I gotta say and talk about the importance of doing business in Africa, and also along the way sharing with you my personal experience doing business in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And for those of you that are Congolese descent or who are from Congo, who would like to do business in Congo or get into agriculture or farming or anything related, please hit me up and do me a favor, go back to my watch list of doing business in Congo or farming in Congo. I have a whole list probably filled with, I'd say, between 35 to 40 video-ish on there. It's got a lot of information that I'm sure you would probably find more informative. Okay, guys, so without further ado, let's go straight to today's live stream. Okay, I'm going to assume if you are tuning in, you are either from Africa, living abroad, or you live in a continent of Africa, or you've already lived outside of the continent of Africa, now you move back and you are doing business in Africa, or you're not African, but you have interest in doing business in Africa and you are curious to hear what I got to say about that, right? So this is what's going on. A lot of people now around the world are rushing to do business in Africa in different sectors, in variety of sectors, and it's for a very good reason. Africa is the future. Africa has the mineral resources that are developing the world. If the world has evolved the way it has for the past couple of decades, it's because of the technologies or the natural resources that have been used to industrialize and revolutionize, like AI or any sort of tech industries. Guys, we're talking about smartphones, laptops, even defense around one of the most powerful countries around the world. We have resources like uraniums, many more. There are certain that yet to be discovered, but all of that, it is filled in the continent of Africa. So that is the reason why a lot of people and everybody is pouring en masse in the continent of Africa. But the problem that bothers me the most in all of this is Africans themselves, including me. We are not doing enough for our continent to actually change things around. Why did I say that? Guys, when somebody is moving from another continent or from another country to go do business in Africa, do you really think they have interest in fixing the infrastructure in Africa? Do you even think that they have interest in changing anything politically or socially or economically, to say, in Africa? Absolutely not. They're only going in there to make money. Whereas African nationals who have been outside of the continent of Africa, but they're now relocating to the motherland, they have a different view compared to people that are not from Africa. If it even makes sense, which I think it should, because the same level of love that I have going to Africa to do business, it's not going to be the same when I'm doing business in America, for instance, okay? We all have motives when we are doing business in any part of the world. But it seems to me that Africans, especially those in the diaspora, right? They turn their back on Africa. They will look for markets outside of the continent, but they have the financial and economic means to do business in a much larger scale. But if you ask them the reason, they would give you a lot of political reasons as to why they don't feel comfortable doing business within the continent of Africa, which partially I can agree when we talk about infrastructures and policies and the way the local governments are doing business or are, treating on Africans willing to do business in Africa. However, every time I bring up this point, I use the examples of other expatriates, let's just say Chinese or Lebanese, for instance. Do you think when they come to Africa to invest, they care about local policies or they care about infrastructures the way we do? These people all bring in huge capitals and they're not as exigent as we are doing business there. They see opportunities that most Africans don't see. It's as if we have been blinded to not see opportunities that exist in the continent of Africa. Most Africa wants to move to the West to get a job and hopefully live a better life. But that distortion is it's getting more and more coverage, and it's getting debunked by multiple medias now, or independent media and other YouTubers on the platform that have been talking about this for a long time now. People are now realizing that, wow, the opportunities we thought existed in the West, it's actually a modern form of slavery, which constitutes you getting a job or going to get an education, go deep in debt, and having to repay all of this interest, right? Before you know it, you have spent 20, even 25 years of your life doing nothing by working, paying bills, and paying debts. Versus when you have, if you have, looked into doing business in Africa, which by the way would not require huge capitals or, list of taxes that you have to pay, you know what I'm saying, to actually make it. Guys, how much longer are we going to continue to sleep as Africans when we have other nationals coming to the continent and doing business? Do you think all these wars that are happening in different parts or different regions of Africa is because there are tribes that hate each other? Do you really believe in these narratives that Western medias are feeding you with? Guys, absolutely not. It's not about intertribal conflict or people not getting along among each other. It's about the philosophy, politically speaking, that tends to divide people to control them. You know what I'm saying? By making you believe that you're worth better than the other neighboring tribe. Therefore, you should be in a more position of power. And when that happens, it pushes people to revolt. And when revolutions break out, right, now you have people butting heads over some pieces of land, over some unnecessary things that wasn't originally on the topic to begin with. And when that happened, these people steps in as the savior, as the problem solver, and say, hey, in order for you to solve this problem, you will have to give up 50% of your land for these multinational corporations to exploit this soil, and then everybody will get their cut. Before you know it, it's generations after generations. And the craziest thing is even like the local populations are not even the ones benefiting from these industries, right? As these multinational companies coming through, taking over the lands and actually bettering themselves. But I don't know, it doesn't take rocket science for African leaders to understand this. Let me touch base on African leaders for a little bit. I'm not going to stay in this topic so long because of the ramifications that might come from it, right? Guys, do you think they don't know what's happening? Because I watch a lot of YouTubers that are not originally from Africa who don't know the reality of African nations. They talk about this thinking that African leaders are stupid or they don't know what they're doing. No, it's not that they're stupid. They're just puppets to this Western imperialists. And why did I say that? Usually these governments, they promise them to provide them with power, right? They have all of these privileges. In return, they privatize, mine sites for them to exploit, export, you know what I'm saying, outside of the continent of Africa, refine the same products, and bring it right back to the continent and selling those products to Africans at a much higher prices. And that's exactly what's been going on. But Africans are not the primary beneficiary of these trades, right? They benefit from that. They benefit from, they profit off of these trades among themselves, and Africans are left behind. But these resources are coming from Africa, as ironic as it might seem. Some people will argue like, oh, Africans don't even have industries to refine its products, so that's why it needs to be exported out and then brought back for them to pay for it. Okay, fair enough. Don't you think African countries cannot afford to finance these refineries to produce these products locally? They are under political pressures because they can't do that. If they do it, it'll create instability because these Western imperialists, they would destabilize the country because it would destroy their markets pretty much. That's why they nitpick some of these governments. When they talk about democracy, non-interference on these elections, it's all a bunch of bull crap. All right, they interfere in every African elections. If you see Western powers opposing one African leadership, you know that leader is good for the people, because these people, including in their own countries, they don't work for the people, they work for themselves. They are a bunch of global elites who are thirsty of power. They don't care about human lives. They don't care about bettering the life of people within their country. Do you think they're going to come to the continent of Africa and better make African lives better than it is now? You out of your goddamn mind if you think that is actually the issue. That's never going to happen, just for the record. That is why on my channel, I advocate for Africans to go back to Africa and start businesses. You would understand what your local people are worth by providing them with resources, with employment, and with the tools that they need to actually, get out of the poverty or be lifted from poverty. Or maybe, teach them the skills that they don't have so that tomorrow they are able to create something for themselves. Because we have to be able to help one another. Those of us that have left the continent and either were fortunate enough to be educated within Western educational institutions, right? And we have acquired this knowledge. It is very imperative, it's very necessary that we go back to the continent and share some of this knowledge with locals that will appreciate it more, that will appreciate it best. Because keep in mind, what you have learned or your abilities, how many more people here in the West have the same capabilities that you have, or have the same level of education that you have, or even more? But if you go back to Africa, right, in your community, you will stand out more because there will not be as many who would be compared, right, who would measure up to you in terms of how educated you will be, right? And that knowledge is needed. It's very necessary for the local people. Am I saying that African educated are not as smart? That's not what I said, right? I'm talking about access that we have in education. We do know that not many of us here back in Africa have come from families that have the financial capabilities to send all of the children to school to get all education, right? A lot of people, they have their GED or high school diploma, but because they don't teach us trades, right? In school, so that we learn practical jobs. As soon as we get out of high school, we can go ahead and get a job, right? It's making it much more impossible for people to have the skills that they need to develop certain things to become entrepreneur. But when you are educated here in the West, or even just living here in the West, it will teach you a lot more things that we didn't learn when we were growing up in Africa, right? And then you take that knowledge back and you understand how the world works, you understand how the money works, right? And you have implemented new systems or new technologies in the way things are done, and you bring it back. That will actually help improve the way we do certain things back in Africa. In agriculture, for instance, right? We are now seeing that these like Western practices, like the way they farm or do things, are getting introduced in Africa, in more incremental basis. However, I wouldn't recommend anyone who's like went to school for agriculture or agronomy, right? And taking that knowledge to Africa, it might not work, because keep in mind, our soil is not the same, right? Number one. And number two, the weather is not the same, because the crops that you'll be able to grow here in America, for instance, would probably, you won't probably be able to grow that in Africa. Maybe you will be able to, but vice versa may not be the case, because when winter hit, everything goes to dry and you can't do things like that. That's why here a lot of agricultural products are genetically modified. And I still trying to understand the concept behind fruits, for instance, being available all year round, right? Growing up in Africa, fruits grow, in certain seasons, right? Every season has certain products that become available. That's why in Africa, it'll come a time where avocados are available, people are consuming avocado, and then when that time go away, avocados disappears from the market. And then you have people now, right? You have like oranges, and then mangoes, and then other fruits, right? You rotating that throughout the year, so you're consuming different fruits based on the season that you're in. Versus here in America, it doesn't matter what season, all these fruits are available in every grocery store, right? And that could be problematic, because we know these things that they use to develop or to grow this plant, to grow these fruits to be available on the markets for people to consume, are doing a lot of damages to a lot of people's health. You have obesity being a major problem in America due to the way agriculture industry operates here in America, and it go unpunished because the government or government officials don't give a damn about any of that. They're just all about their money. As long as this big pharma make campaign contributions for their elections, that's all they care about. And when they get elected, they will do everything they want, but they don't care about the population. And this is exactly why I say, do you really think that you can come here in the West and hope to start a business and actually make it all the way to the top? You out of your mind if you think that's even going to come any close to what you are planning to do. I'm not against anyone doing business in the West whatsoever. However, it is very important to face the reality. Let me ask you guys some of these questions. What is it that can you bring here, for instance, in America, that has not existed before? What could you possibly contribute to the American society in terms of innovation that they have not yet developed? It seems to be everything already exists here. All the technologies, they already have that here. But we're lacking some of those technologies in Africa. So if you are in the tech industry and you have learned a lot of things that you know those practices are not available in Africa, why don't you take that expertise back to the continent and actually help out the local African population to benefit from your knowledge and create opportunities among local people that did not exist or who have not been offered to them by local governments? Because I believe diasporans can play a major role in empowering the next generation to do things that was never done before. It's the youth, right? Because every government invests in younger generation, because they know they're the future. They know that they're the future doctors, they're the future farmers, they're the future engineers, which is the opposite of what we see happening in Africa. There are a lot of Africans who are entrepreneurs, but because they lack financial support and they don't have the economics to actually help them start their businesses, it is making it more and more impossible to even get ahead. That's why we see Lebanese and Indians and Chinese coming with the capital and invading the markets and actually economically doing so much better than some local Congolese. And they're hiring locals, paying them nothing but scraps and treating them miserably. But these people don't want to leave those jobs because that's the only options they have. Why? Because there is no other alternative but what is offered to them by these Chinese. Do you really think, as Africans, if we go back to Africa, invest heavily and hire locals, our own brothers and sisters, and paying them what they're worth and treating them with dignity, do you really think they will consider applying for a job through any of these other expatriates? Absolutely not. But in order for that to be a case, it will need conscience. It will need a diasporan movement to become aware and actually believe in African markets, going there, spending money, and actually, investing heavily, and not care or worry about politics. I do understand that politics play a major role, in as far as like doing business, because politics affects our way of life and on a daily basis, right? But we should also take into account that politics is like a double sword knife, right? Because if you just stick your nose in politics all the time, it'll take you a lot longer to even consider investing in Africa. Most excuses that Africans make to not do business in Africa, it's more based on political talks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them will say, oh, the politics is not stable, the government's this, and that. They're always coming up with these excuses to justify why they feel uncomfortable investing in Africa. But then when you ask them, okay, what are you doing here in America? Because you say that you are waiting for the opportunity to open itself, right? In order for you to go ahead and invest. Well, those with that kind of mindset will retire and die. They will never get anything done. Do you think someone like me who's investing in agriculture, farming back in Congo, I'm not aware of all of these things? I definitely am. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on. But because I understand, right? I understand that the longer you wait, right, the more impossible and the more difficult it will become to start a business, to purchase the property, to do anything. Because keep in mind, speaking of like real estate, for instance, the price increases every year. So because you think that, oh, there are scams happening, if I buy a house, somebody will walk in and take it away from me. Yeah, those things happen to people. Unfortunately, I feel bad and I sympathize with those that have been victims of these kind of scams. But they also should have done their due diligence. They should have conducted research before they were all excited and go ahead, invest or like purchase a home to begin with. You have to do researches in order for you to become convinced that, okay, this is the property I want to purchase. People that fall victim of these scams usually don't do their due diligence. They don't do researches. I know friends whose parents have been victims of such things. But the way things and local policies that are put in place to tackle these issues have made it 10 times more difficult for whomever to scam somebody out of their lands, like ever, right? And if you think that you're gonna wait till you see change, all right, good luck, keep waiting. You'll probably never see that happen. Because I understand all of these things. I went in there, I own 2 residential properties now. I own my farmland for over 5 years now, and it's still under my name. The last time I checked, ain't nobody walked in there, start talking on smack that belonged to them. Why? Because I knew better. I knew exactly what I needed to do in order for me to feel comfortable standing in front of an ATM, make a withdrawal, and actually pay to pay for the properties that I own. You understand what I'm saying? But versus here, we know buying a house for a working class is damn near impossible. The price is ridiculously expensive. How many Americans can afford to purchase a home like straight cash? Not that many, because more than 95% of the population live paycheck to paycheck. And most people or your family members that told you that they own homes here, basically what they were trying to tell you is that they went to the bank lent them money, right? They borrowed money from the bank, bought a home, and the bank actually owns the house, but they're just living in it, making payments for the next 30 years. And after they had finished their payments, then the bank gives them their title to the house. It goes for vehicles and all of the other things, right? Just in case you didn't know, I just had to put that out there. I'm sorry for those of you that are continuing to lie to your friends and family member back home the way you live your life here. I might just have to expose that. I'm sorry, because my goal here in this channel to educate as many people as possible so that people don't make the same mistakes and think or live under the be under the impression that life is all roses here in the West, where you and I who have been living here for a long time know better that that's not the case, right? So let's stop this lying habit to mislead some of our brothers and sisters in the continent who could have been able to maybe start a business, but they believe in your lies and saved up that money and relocated to the West. And once they're here, they see how hard and how difficult life is, and now they hate you, right? So hey everybody, how you guys doing? And I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Do me a favor, hit that like button. The live stream has been going on for more than half an hour now, and nobody has not helped me hit the like button, guys. You know, this YouTube videos and live streams, it really takes a lot of energies to make, right? The times that I have to play and talk about certain subjects, it's really time consuming, guys. That's why even publishing videos or pre-recorded videos on my channel have been sporadic lately, because I'm busy working, right? And by you guys supporting, it is actually encouraging me to do more, right? I would rather people not be on the chat, only probably have one person watching, by making sure that they like my video and share it, right? To help me grow, because my goal is to bring awareness so that more Africans, more Congolese actually do the things that I'm doing and become aware of the reality that is happening in the motherland, in the continent, all right? So you guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't get mad anymore people for not liking my live stream, or doing the things that I'm asking, but I'm just gonna keep making these videos. If you don't like the videos, that's fine. But I mean, if you don't like seeing my face, you're more than welcome to unsubscribe and go watch another YouTuber, or go watch a female twerking on social media. That's what a lot of you've been doing, right? But I'm here about doing business and talking business, and actually, bringing awareness to encourage more African youth to do things. When we have these sort of like old school and informative conversations as adults, I don't see like why people don't like these videos, but videos that actually destroying the morals of people gets the most like. I don't get it. But I'm not gonna be the one who make these sort of videos or clickbait to get people to watch my videos. No, I don't do those things, man. I have integrity and I live by it. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and do me a favor, hit like the video, share with a friend, subscribe, and comment in the comment section down below about the things that I've talked about. If you relate to some of this, share your stories in the comment section. We will really love to read your story and maybe have a conversation in the comment section, right? Until the next one, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy Saturday. So long. Way say always keep it real no matter what. But I appreciate you, I appreciate it, brother, sister, whatever, but also hook me up. Hit the like button and like the video and share, all right? So that's also important, all right? I appreciate your kind comments and your engagement, you know, sticking around the channel, you know, seeing the things that I'm doing and encouraging, supporting me. But one way you can support me on YouTube, I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking you to donate. I don't even have a Patreon account or anything like that. All right, but I would appreciate it if you make a donation. I won't turn it down, but I won't be the one asking you to do anything like that. But what matters the most to me is you guys actually liking the videos while I do this live stream, and also, if you don't mind, sharing it on your social media, because I'm trying to get more people on board and actually, you know what I'm saying, talking more about these things and bring awareness, and hopefully Africans in the diaspora, and in particular Congolese, wake up and, you know, go ahead and start business in Congo or in Africa in general, all right? I'm not gonna be mad if a fellow Congolese go set up a business, for instance, in Kenya, sets up a business in Tanzania, or sets up a business in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna make me mad. Or Nigerian coming to Congo setting up a business, right? Or a Kenyan coming to Congo setting up a business. I'm not gonna be pissed off about it. We have a lot of West Africans doing business in Congo. You know, they owns a lot of clothing stores. They sell us one of the most beautiful African outfits coming from the West Africa, right? I love those. I got those outfits. I own probably probably 3 or 4 of those outfits. And just speaking of those outfits, I have at least 3 that I ordered, but they're in Congo. I'll pick them up when I fly down there in July this year, right? That's how beautiful. So they're doing their business. They're living their best life. They like the Congolese markets, and they're there, right? So every African is free to do business anywhere they want. I'm not gonna be mad if another fellow African is doing business in the continent of Africa. But we have to be able to support each other in these things. We have to be able to help one another grow, right? And like I said, one way you do that with me in this channel is to hit the like button when I'm doing this live stream, and share it on your social media platform to allow some of your friends to also join the conversation and grow this audience bigger than it already is. All right? That's all I had to say. Happy Saturday. I have to now plug in my GPS, because from where I'm at now, I don't know where I'm going. I don't want to miss the exit and end up doing a half-hour loop, so I'm not gonna do that. All right, until the next video, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.